What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here with Cheesehead TV, coming to you live Thursday afternoon after the Packers have no more players opting out. Devin Funchess will be the only one. It's official as of 4 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. No other actions via the transaction wire either, so that means no one new has been placed on the COVID-19 reserve list, which is always a good day. And yes, this is the sad new reality we all exist in now, watching to see if anyone else has been added to the reserve list. Hello, everybody in the comments. Andy, what's up? How's Oregon? Hello from New York City. I apologize for the low-res image. Having some issues with the camera today, so you get me grainy. Kevin, what's up? Donald, thanks for joining us. Cyril, how are you? Amar, twice in one day. Well, you know, if there's a little bit of news, I'll come on. I'll jump on, say hi. What's up? That's why it's called extra cheese, man. I got to get a little slice, a little extra, a little something, something. Go Pack Go from Atlanta. What's up, Will? Go Pack Go. Oz, how are you, buddy? Cheers, Sean. Go Pack Go. That's what I'm talking about. Coolest Jared. Hi, man. How you doing? Colby. Listen to the presser. Are you guys only allowed one question? No, we're allowed to put our hand up for as many as we want, but since there are so many people in such a limited time, it's usually only one per guy or woman. If there's something pressing and I think of another question, I've been able to ask a couple at times. I asked Coach 2 this morning. But yeah, with Rick, I just asked about his time in Baltimore and if he remembered anything about Z, and he said, you know, he remembered him being a physical specimen, which I do not doubt. So Griffin was most likely leverage? Well, I don't know. We just saw that report earlier today that the Seahawks are in on Griffin as well. And they seem to be in on Clay Matthews, which is kind of fun. Would you welcome Antonio Brown to the pack? No. I already said good morning now. Good afternoon. Go Pack Go from New Mexico. What's up, Jose? Salud. Why is it that lists, the dangerous lists. Why is it that lists have the Packers high on signing Antonio Brown? Because people got to make money. Man, people got you to click on those lists, didn't they? Interesting how that works. The Packers aren't signing Antonio Brown, people. Just recovering from the draft. Ouch. Let's talk about Jordan Love. Yes. I was going to do the Nazi from Raiders of the Lost Ark, but that's a different line. He says, now, what shall we talk about? But, you know, we know what you want to talk about. You want to talk about Jordan Love. I love me some Jordan Love. If you want a bunch of Jordan Love talk, I suggest hitting up the new episode of Nagler's Never Right. I spoke to our intern, Susanna. She's an insane Jordan Love fan. She had a lot to say on the latest episode. Wait, what? Edgar, what are you babbling about? No exclamation. Would you welcome Antonio Brown to the pack? Oh, so it's whack that I said no. I got you. Feel like I've been explaining myself for weeks, months, what have you, but he's facing an 8-game suspension, and they're entering a season where now more than ever, it is paramount that they be able to trust the guys on the roster to do the right thing while they're away from the facility. And if there is a human being on the face of this planet I trust less than Antonio Brown away from the facility, I have yet to see him. Antonio Brown's going to blow up in your face if you sign him to the Packers. That is the last thing they need. Go Pack Go from Japan. What's up? Salud. What does it take to sign Snacks? Paul, it sounds like for him to make a decision. I know I can't remember who it was. Somebody put a report out there. Oh, Ross put a report out there that the Packers had made an offer earlier this offseason. And I know he was quoted a couple weeks ago talking about how he was still weighing his decision if he even wants to play in 2020. So I think a lot going on there. I'd be surprised if that happened for Green Bay, but I'd love that addition. That's somebody I could definitely get on board with. Roster now at 85? I don't think so. LaFleur mentioned it this morning. I think they're right at 80. I have to go back. I haven't gone and counted today, but you know, LaFleur mentioned that they were right at 80. So I think they're good. This is your team. Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. You guys remember the video I made halfway through the offseason after the draft, and everybody's talking about how poor the Packers did. Blah, blah, blah. Man, I would hope you'd support who we are, not who we are not. Quote Norman Dale. Are Papinga and Bob still fighting? Oh, man, Papinga's fighting with everybody always. You know that. We need EQ and MVS to bounce back in a major way. You are not lying. Now, obviously, MVS, you saw really up and down last year, clearly needs to get his confidence back more than anything, because I think he lost confidence in himself. I think his coaching staff lost confidence in him. You saw his snaps go way, way down as the year went on, especially down the stretch. With EQ, I'm excited about him, man. I think he could do some real damage in this offense. He's a bigger guy, but still fluid athlete, a willing blocker. He's going to get out there on those running plays and help, bust some big ones for Aaron Jones. So I'm excited for EQ to be back out there. Nags, what's up? Been a while. You've been live way early here in California. Yeah, Tim, well, I got those morning chats. When there's news or something to talk about, I'll be doing the afternoon chats as well. So, salut, California. How you doing, man? Julia, would you sign Tremont? Yes. But I am only one man. And clearly Brian Gutekunst has moved on. I think they really like the young talent that they've got. We'll see how long that lasts and if that holds up. But I will say I really liked what I saw from Chandon Sullivan last year. And at some point, Father Time is going to say, okay, that's it for Tremont. And I don't think that time is now. I don't think it's happened yet. But, you're always looking forward. And you're always trying to develop guys. And you're always trying to get better. And in Brian's estimation, what they have on hand is going to be the best way forward. And we're going to get those young guys lots of reps. And they're going to develop. And they're going to be great. And then we're all going to win the Super Bowl. Thoughts on Moon Man? Love it, Mason. Nothing wrong. Can't go wrong with it. Although this is not Moon Man. Matthew, a special teams question. J.K. Scott, bust or bloomer? Just needs to be consistent. I wouldn't call him a bust. He just needs to be consistent. We've seen that he can do it. We've seen that he can boom them. We've seen that he can pin them inside the 20. We've seen that he can do anything and everything asked of him at that position. He just has some shanks at the worst possible times, some bad punts at the worst possible times. If he can and we talked to Sean Menenga earlier this offseason about it, but getting that consistency, his get off time, he is a bit unusual in the sense that he doesn't hop off the ground when he punts it. And, he's just being able to strike the ball the same with consistency each and every time he's asked to. If he can do that, you can just kind of solidify that. I think he could be really good. Saul, thank you for the super chat. Hope we see more Kingsley Kiki this season. I could not agree more. I wish we would have seen much more of him last year. I think he played well when given opportunities. They just were so few and far between. I think for this defense to take a step and go in the right direction, they absolutely need him to take over for Tyler Lancaster. I think between Kiki and Hester, hopefully they start taking the place and snaps of Montrevious Adams and Tyler Lancaster. I think that will help a lot. Are Crosby and Jace back? Not yet, Michael. They're still on the COVID-19 reserve list. As we talked to Matt earlier today, they're still able to participate in all the meetings. They have cameras in all the rooms, which means they can join via Zoom. So he's still, they're all still involved. They're all still going to meetings. Obviously, you hope they'll be back in time for when practice starts next Saturday. We'll see. But as of right now, they are still on the list. We keeping Bobby Tonyan? Absolutely. I mean, I say that and I'll watch him get cut tomorrow. But yes, I think he will. I think they really like him. I think it's going to be very interesting how they balance which tight ends they keep along with which wide receivers and how those numbers start playing into each other. I don't think there's any question there. Raven Green starting inside linebacker? Well, not really or strictly. I think you'll have lots of Kirksey in the middle, and then we'll have some kind of mix. We'll see how Kamal Martin does. Maybe Ty Summers does something. Maybe Bolton kind of grabs his spot back. Don't forget, he was, slated to be a starter before getting hurt last summer. And then I think they will obviously play a lot of dime, a lot of sub, and that will put Raven Green in there. I don't doubt we'll see him in the box a bunch, but I wouldn't say he'd be strictly starting inside linebacker or anything like that. What's my week 1 O-line? Ooh, Julia, good question. Bakhtiari, Jenkins, Lindsley. I think those are the easy ones, right? From left to right. Then I would suspect if it's a true fair competition, Lane Taylor and Rick Wagner. Now, obviously, then what do you do with Billy Turner with that contract? I think you just sit him on the bench and have the luxury of a guy who plays both guard and tackle. That's just me. Now, I don't know how real the competition is going to be. I suspect it'll probably be Turner, Wagner, but we'll see. I think Lane's a better player than Billy. And I think if given the opportunity, he'll prove that on the field. That's just guesswork on my part, obviously. What's up with the Bucs right now? I have no idea. Jake Bro, Tyler Ervin will be a game changer on offense this season. Well, I don't know if he needs to be a game changer, but he certainly adds an element, a different element, right, to the offense. And not just because of the orbit motion stuff they like to run with him, but I do think you look at the very limited amount of work he got from scrimmage as, he got kind of acclimated to the franchise and the program. He absolutely, and Rodgers just misses him on 2 what would have been great touchdown passes in Detroit in Week 17. I think that's something they could cook with. Utilizing him as a receiver out of the backfield, as a change of pace back. Saw he had a really nice run against Detroit, had a really nice run against the Seahawks in the playoffs. You start utilizing that. I don't know if he's going to be a huge game changer, but I do think he's a great little chess piece for them to utilize. What else we got here? I don't think a wide receivers coach was hired yet. Oh, they did. Yeah, they promoted the offensive quality control kid, whose name totally escapes me, but I will get for you momentarily. Where is he? Oh yeah, Jason Vrabel. That was it. He was an offensive quality control coach last year, and he was promoted to wide receivers coach. Why did we overpay for Billy Turner and Dean Lowry? Unbelievable. Okay, I have 2 answers to this. Number 1 is, who cares? It's not your money, right? They're good players. Maybe they're not great. Maybe they don't live up to their contract, so to speak, but they're serviceable. And by the way, they've won a boatload of games with those guys. And then 2, Billy Turner, the weird thing for me with Turner was always, why did they do it so quickly? Like, you can talk about what they paid him, what have you. Maybe they overpaid, I guess, fine. But why did they he was like the first 48 hours of free agency. Was there really a line out the door of teams banging down the door to try and sign Billy Turner? I don't think so. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they knew something I didn't, but I just didn't see him as this hot name that teams were just throwing money at. For Dean Lowry, I'm totally with you. The double punch of paying Dean Lowry and then cutting Mike Daniels was tough to take. The Dean Lowry move kind of mystified me. I ain't gonna lie, no doubt about it. Travis, Empire Strikes Back is the best movie of the entire Star Wars franchise. Prove me wrong. How can I prove the facts wrong? It's impossible. Any chance wide receiver Ryan Grant comes back because of his familiarity with the offense? Tend to doubt it. I mean, the only reason he was signed at all was because, it was break glass in case of emergency, when they thought that MVS and Geronimo weren't going to be able to go that week, and then they literally never activated him. So I tend to think whatever he's done in Green Bay, he's done it, but you never know. Do you think MVS and TD Jesus get an advantage because of this weird offseason? With regular competition, do you think they were locks to make the team? No, Andrew, I don't. And yes, I agree with your sentiment here that I do think this really unusual offseason absolutely helps them in the sense of teams wanting continuity, teams needing guys who know the system, who aren't having to be taught up, so to speak, and, have proven that they can at least operate within the system. Not going to say either one of those guys are world beaters, but, they know they can plug them in and go. And both guys help out on special teams. Kumerow a great blocker in the run game, etc. So you can tick off like reasons to keep them around and reasons why they probably will get a better look than they may have had, if there was a full off season, maybe some more, maybe Red Begleton, the kid from the CFL, gets more opportunities to shine. Maybe Funchess comes on and does something that really kind of makes them secure with cutting those guys. But now, obviously, Funchess has opted out. Obviously, there has been no offseason work on the field. So you're closer and closer to having to basically have 20 practices in 15 days or something nonsense like that. And you've got to get into shape real quick as a team. It definitely helps their chances, the possibility of them making it. I'm going to miss thinking Trevor Davis is going to be the next star wide receiver from his preseason games. Ryan, a tradition unlike any other. Norman, could not agree more. Thank you for saying that. Will Redmond gets too much hate. Best player on special teams, not a bad option as a backup safety. And that's what he is. He's a great teamer and, an emergency fill-in. People remember the Eagles game and he got taken advantage of, rightly so, as offenses will. If you're the backup to the backup safety and you're suddenly thrust into having to cover tight ends and backs out of the backfield, good offensive coordinators are going to target you, and they're probably going to win because they're attacking you with their frontline guys. And you're a down the depth chart kind of dude. It's like there's no shame in that. But whenever roster, the problem now is that because the NFL offseason is such a business as far as content goes, it's like even the really important pieces like that of roster construction, which Redmond's a great piece. Like you mentioned, he's a great special teamer and somebody who now knows your systems, been in it for a while, and can absolutely step in if guys get injured, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's a good signing. But as soon as that signing gets made, as soon as they bring him back, oh, he's terrible, he got burned, blah, 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 blah. Like nobody thinks, well, not nobody, but most fans don't think of it from a roster construction standpoint, which is unfortunate because I think the kid's good. Who gets more defensive snaps, Jackson or Holman? Ooh, Matt. It's a good question. I would suspect Holman if he picks up where he left off last summer as far as how he looked in press man. But we'll see. I mean, obviously they play more dime than anybody else. So there'll be lots of snaps for everybody in the cornerback room. But, man, yeah, we all know this is Jackson's put up or shut up year. He can't afford to not be in street clothes or not contribute. I mean, or else it's Bustville for that kid. Mason, is Jack Venisi one of the most unheralded Packers in history? Personally, I wasn't very familiar with his contributions prior to watching Legacy. I would highly recommend. I knew about him because I have read When Pride Still Mattered. That's when I was really my eyes really got opened to his contributions. He is, the scout who basically provided Lombardi prior to Lombardi's arrival, even with a lot of the talent that were on those championship teams. And he doesn't get a whole lot of praise. He's not very well, not regarded, but represented around Lambeau Field. They have now in the history trail that you can walk. His name has been added. There's a statue, there's a plaque that you can go read about him. But yeah, he's instrumental in those championship teams in the dynasty of the 60s. Without him, it doesn't exist. So yeah, I agree with you. He is one of the more unheralded, underrated people in the history of the franchise. No doubt about it. All right, guys, I got to go. I'm so sorry if I couldn't get to your question. It's great that literally 188 folks are just sitting here chilling on a Thursday without any real football to talk about, but it's getting closer. As I said, Matt LaFleur mentioned today, first practice is a week from Saturday. I'll be there 2 days after that from when the pads come on. Can't wait for that. Please hit like on this video. Please hit subscribe on the channel. And if you like what we do at Cheesehead TV, please consider giving us $5 a month on our Patreon page. It supports everything we do, video, social, on the website. You get exclusive access to my podcast, Nagler's Never Right. And every Patreon member is allowed to challenge me to a game of Madden. It's been a lot of fun. We've been doing it all off season. I'm not sure when my next one is. I think it's next week. But it really supports everything we do. We can't thank you guys enough. But really, just tell your friends, tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack, go.